Hi everyone, welcome to our online Jobs and Apprenticeships Fair. I'm Yvonne and we're going to kick off today our session on mastering LinkedIn. I'm just going to check that we've got all of our screens up correctly, and we're going to give everyone a minute to drop into the call as well before we make a start. Okay. Quite a few people waiting to drop in. Are you in the office today there, Jack?
Yeah, came in. It's a nice
Yeah.
change, to be fair. It's quite good to get to see everyone again. How about yourself?
I'm at home 20 months in now, I think, and counting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, we go to the office occasionally, but not regularly.
Yeah, it's a nice change
Yeah.
every now and again just to catch up with people, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. Just going to. I'm just going to change one of the views. This. Okay, sorry about that. Just a slight technical error. Let's just make a start now. Welcome everyone again to this session. I'm joined by Nick from Goodman Masson. I'd particularly like to welcome any Peabody residents who are on the call, and just to remind you that if you're a Peabody resident, you can access our one-to-one careers service all for free. You just need to go onto the Peabody website, look up employment, and you'll be able to find the registration form. Just for everyone else to know as well, this session is being recorded and it'll be uploaded to the Peabody YouTube page. So all you need to do to find it is to look up YouTube, Peabody London, and you'll find a recording of all of our sessions from today and also from yesterday as well. I'm going to hand over now to Jack to kick off.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jack. I'm a senior consultant at Goodman Masson, recruiting into social housing, so work with Peabody as well. And today we're going to talk you through navigating LinkedIn. So really how to get the best out of your LinkedIn profile and use it to the best of its ability. This is it, perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you the key differences between your LinkedIn profile and your CV. Essentially, your LinkedIn profile, it's to speak to all potential employers. I think generally with a CV, you tailor it for a specific job, specific company, whereas your LinkedIn profile is trying to grasp everyone. So it's a lot wider and a lot more avenues. It allows other professionals and employers to interact, learn, and contact you. Obviously, your CV is just an online piece of paper, essentially. Contains recommendations and endorsements, which you can't really get on your CV. So it's a really good way to get referrals and recommendations so other people can just see how good you are. And it's really easy to be discoverable by recruiters. Obviously, your CV is only there if you put it out there, whereas we can all see your LinkedIn profiles. Cool, next slide. So the best way to build out your LinkedIn profile, to start with, have a great photo, show yourself off. So you're 21 times more profile views and 9 times more connection requests, depending on your photo. So how to do that, make sure the background isn't too distracted. Focus on yourself. Dress for the job you want. If it's a job, for instance, that's a bit more relaxed, chilled out, come across a little bit more relaxed. If it's an office job, maybe have a suit on in your picture, depending where you're going. Make sure to smile, look friendly, look approachable. Although it's virtual, that still goes a long way. No one wants to contact someone that looks a bit scary. and make sure your face takes up the majority of your frame. I advise, again, just make sure it's you, not group photos, you as an individual. Cool. So what's important? Your headline is another thing that's really important. It's an opportunity to show what you are, not just what you do. So mine says senior consultant, and then it says a little bit about recruiting into the industry. So when writing your headline, just make sure you ask yourself, if this is the only thing that someone else sees, what does it say about me? Does it summarize everything? Does this represent my professional brand and show why I'm unique? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people on LinkedIn. We really want to stand out. And does it capture what a recruiter wants to see? So you do that. I don't know if we can share screens or go on to LinkedIn by clicking the Me icon at the top of the page. It's fairly easy to find. So on the right side of the page, click Add New Profile section to begin editing and then adding to your profile. And things that you want to include are your location, your industry, work and internship experience goes a long way. Obviously, as you said, it's like an online CV. Volunteer experience, educations and certifications, and skills. So when I'm searching for candidates using LinkedIn, I will specify one of them. Obviously, I'll look at the location. If it needs a certain qualification, I'll look at education, and then obviously experience and skills as well. The LinkedIn tool will guide you through this. So I actually recently, well, as of today, became an all-star profile, just because it tells you all the steps that you need to do, from including all of them and then a summary. Bringing us on to summary. So your summary is the best place for you to communicate your professional brand and put your own spin on your experience. What we recommend is 1 or 2 sentences about who you are, 3 to 5 sentences about your experience, your top skills, your key passions, and then 1 to 2 sentences about your future goals and how other members can engage with you. Where do you want to go? What is the kind of jobs that you're interested in? What really gets you going, and show yourself off to them. Now we're on to building your professional network. So the people you may know feature improves over time as you build your network. So we want to discover existing connections. So it's really good. I think what you'll find is that a lot of the people that you know probably on there, and as a tool, using your location and stuff like that and where you've worked, LinkedIn will give you recommendations on who to connect with, and then you can see their connections, and it's kind of like a spider web. So if you click My Network in the top navigation to find people you already know, this will, as I just said, friends and family, current and former colleagues, and current and former managers. And as I said, this will build over time. So search for new connections. So you want to use the search bar. Make sure that you use search bar and not the status bar. I've heard people in the past posting statuses of people that they're trying to search up and forgetting about it, not realizing for a bit. But how you do this is by their name, their company, location, or a keyword, and it will specify people based on them. So keywords include the job title, stuff that links to the job. So if I was a recruiter and I was recruiting a job into housing would be a keyword. Again, so after clicking connect, you can send your invitation immediately or personalize your invitation by selecting add a note. So rather than just sending, similar to Facebook or any social media, rather than sending a request, let the person know why and who you are and how you know them, just to maybe as a reminder. We recommend that you always, add a personalized message just to make it clear, so that, as I said, they know why you want to add them. And expanding your network. Who should I reach out to on LinkedIn? People that you have something in common with. If you've all got the same goal, there's groups on LinkedIn as I said, it's like a spider web. You can see their connections. You're all aiming for the same. There might be people that they know that can help you, and vice versa. People who have a job or work at a company that interests you, people who may be able to connect with you and help you achieve your goals, and LinkedIn members that are advertising a job that you look like. If you see one, make sure you connect to them, let them know that you're there. And just some things you should say: obviously introduce yourself, let them know who you are, how you came across their profile, and also what you're looking for, how they can help you. Cool. Now we're on to using LinkedIn network to connect to opportunity. So you want to message your connections, send messages to your connections directly from either the LinkedIn messaging page, your connection page, or their profile. There's a message tab where you can do it and you can search people. As I said, you can go onto people's profiles and have a look at them first before deciding, then click the message, and you can message your connections as well. If you don't know the person you're messaging in real life, make sure to clearly explain why you are messaging them. Request referrals. Ask for a job referral by reaching out to your connections at companies and your intent to apply to. Make sure you include why you're interested in the specific role, your appreciation for the connections consideration, and more than 60% of the workforce has referred someone to work at their company. So I think it's really common at Goodman Masson. A lot of people say that they know other people. I know that when I'm struggling to hire for a job, I go onto LinkedIn and ask people who they might know that's suitable. So it's really, really useful. Make sure that you're always asking that. It's something that I've picked up recently as well. Cool, if we just click ahead. Recommendations on LinkedIn are like references from people. So they, literally like that, they support you, just makes it look way more viable, gives you a bit of accreditation as well. On connections profile, click more and then request a recommendation. You can then select your relationship to this person, indicated whether you work with them in a particular role, and then customize your message. Who should you ask to recommend me? Current or former managers, current or former colleagues, even people that were not directly on your team. It's just as good getting people from colleagues just saying that they're aware of you in the role, and people who have mentored or advised you professionally, including through non-profit training programs. So if you've been on any course, make sure to ask them as well. Cool. Now we're adding value, engage with your network. Make sure to ask for a job referral by reaching out to your connections at companies you intend to apply to. Make sure to include, invest time in your connections and request informational interviews. Like and share things that people in your network will care about and post. Join groups and exchange insights with schools, and give testimonials and recommendations to others. Just on that groups one, I think I mentioned that earlier. LinkedIn is a really good place where there's different types of groups of people striving for the same goals. They'll be able to help you. Now, searching for jobs on LinkedIn, make sure you set a careers interest, include potential job titles, locations in your career interest to receive more relevant job search suggestions. If you want to really nail this down, the more specific you get, the more specific they're going to be to you. Or if you want to leave it quite open and you'll see a range of jobs. Turn on open candidates setting to let employers and recruiters know you're actively searching. So when we're looking through on our recruiter profiles, we can see people that are open to jobs. So make sure you use that. Using this feature will alert, as I said, us so that you're open to new opportunities, and they're the ones that get the most messages because we know that you're on the market. So you can use LinkedIn search filters to find jobs. So that's a keyword, something specific, the job title, company, location, function, experience level, whether it's an entry-level job, whether it's a manager job you're looking for, and the date posted. Obviously, the more recent, the more active it is. If it's been there for a while, it could be off the market, but still worth a go. You can create your search alerts. Again, by the similar bars. When you create them, you should get an email or a notification on there as soon as a job that matches that comes in. And then review the jobs you may be interested in. For the best job recommendations, make sure your profile is filled out with accurate work experience, skills, location, and information. For instance, if you want to work in a bank, it might be annoying to get unrelated jobs, so make sure that they're specific. Recruiters on LinkedIn can filter specifically for candidates who've engaged with their company page. Make sure you show interested by taking this easy step. Join groups. Again, I touched on this earlier. Find and join groups of professionals to give and get career help and resources by filtering groups using the search bar. Oh, did we just miss a slide there? No, we didn't. And then the checklist. So this is just a summary of everything we've gone through. So most important, the profile picture, again, nice friendly picture. The all-star profile, LinkedIn will help you. There's a green bar just under, which kind of tells you the steps to getting an all-star profile and completing it. Follow 5 companies that interest you and you like to work for. You get information from them, and once you follow them, you'll be able to see all their job postings and statuses and what they're up to. Ask recommendation. I can't stress enough how far this goes. If you've got recommendations on your profile, it just supports you and goes, it shows other recruiters how good you really are. Give recommendations. Obviously, if you're asking, make sure to give, and it works kind of like a like-to-like function. People will be more open to giving you some. And set up job alerts and open to opportunities, so we know that you're on the lookout and those jobs are coming through to your emails or notifications. Perfect. I think that summarizes our presentation. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Okay, thanks, Jack. And thanks everyone again on the call for being patient with us with the technical issues, but we've got one of my colleagues diligently working through the slides. So Denise here has asked, LinkedIn has a product page section. Is it worth adding any skills that you might have there?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you've anywhere that you can get your skills across on LinkedIn, the more the better. Obviously, you've got to weigh it up with your time, but if you can get that across in any function that you can, it's going to go further and hit more people.
Yep, sure. Someone else has asked, is it useful to join groups on LinkedIn?
Yeah, 100%. I think we touched on that a few times in the slide. There's going to be like-minded people. There are going to be people in industries that you're interested in. They will have connections as well that will be able to help you. So make sure you join groups.
Sure. Amelia has asked, hi Jack, on your profile it says that Jack prefers to be followed and not added as a connection. How do you do that, and what would be the benefit of not connecting and just being followed?
I didn't even know it said that on my profile, to be honest. I need to change that. Some people do that just so they're people who get a lot of connections, so it's not clogged up. So it means that you can see their posts, but they can't see yours. I need to change that setting because I don't know how that's happened. I am more than happy to connect with everyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, hang on, something funny. Do you know what? I'm gonna dare to do this. I don't know if I'm gonna try to share your profile.
There we go.
Perfect. That's worked, has it?
Yeah, that has worked.
Amazing. So I know you wanted to show this earlier, so I thought I'd just bring it up now. Again, if you could just pop into the chat that you can see Jack's profile okay, that would be fantastic. Do you want to talk us through your profile, Jack?
Yeah, it's just the things that we were going at earlier. I hope that's a friendly picture. And then there's the header. So it just sums up what I do. I've kind of, rather than put recruitment consultant, put a little bit more specific, so people going on to my profile, whether they're candidates or people looking to hire, know exactly what markets I recruit into. If we scroll down a little bit,
Yeah.
I think there should be a bit. Oh, it's not on mine, but it will show you the all-star bar should just be a little bit above that, but I don't think you'll be able to see that because it just tells me. But you can add skills there. So when you go onto mine, they're the skills that they've matched me with.
I'm going to put public speaking.
Perfect.
I'm going to click that. No
worries.
worries.
activity, you can see all the jobs that I'm posting, the people that I've interacted with. So it's actually really good to go on people's profiles. You can see, for instance, if you didn't know who Peter was or Drew, you can click and look on their profiles, and it can be kind of web of connections there as well.
It takes me up to this person.
Yeah,
and the post.
And then
sure, come back to you now.
Cool. And then if you look at the experience, it's just kind of summary what I do, what I've done previously. I think you want to, depending on the role that you're looking for, I would leave out any jobs less specific, and really focus on the ones that of the industry that you're going, or the skills. Show off the skills that you've had and could be best suited. And then if we go down, education, skills, and then any volunteer experience as well. You want to get as much on there. Here's the skills. So someone's endorsed me for teamwork and time management. And then if you go below that, that's how you add. These are the recommendations I've received. And as I said, it just shows people clicking on nice things that people have said about me, and makes it more interactive.
Perfect. Let's have a look now at some of the other questions. Someone just asked, are recommendations important?
Yes, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't worry if you don't have any. Sometimes they're quite hard to get. Obviously, you want to ask people that you've got a good relationship, but if you can get them, they're really, really effective. As I said, if you go on someone's profile and you scroll down and people have said really nice things about them, it's going to make you want to interact with that person more.
Definitely. Someone else has asked, do recruiters recognize courses done on LinkedIn or qualifications, especially when changing careers with no experience in the sort of desired field?
Yeah, I think so. It depends on the role. I think if there's a quite a senior role, qualifications would be quite important. If it's more of an entry level role, less so. And they're just looking at your profile and see how good that's laid out. But obviously, if there's a more senior one, I'll recognise the qualifications that I'm looking for.
Someone else has asked, is it possible to link with potential jobs with contacts on LinkedIn? Is it possible to link potential jobs with contacts on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so if you scroll to the top,
okay.
At the top bar, there's a bit there that says jobs.
Yep.
Right at the top. And if you click there and down, there'll be loads of jobs, and you can filter them out. They should pick one on stuff that they think. LinkedIn will pick them on what they think is relevant to you. I don't know how they do that, but
yeah. So just for everyone to know, this is actually my account, and I work as a communications manager. So hence the communications jobs. But exactly. I'm also looking at trustee positions at the moment on LinkedIn, in fact, which is why those are coming up for me as well. That's right. Someone else has asked here, as a recruiter, how many candidates do you find through LinkedIn?
I mean, it would be hard to put a number on it, but a lot. I think we probably send out close to 100 messages a week. I don't know if you can see how many connections I've got, but I think it's probably in the thousands.
Yeah, I think once you get over 500, it doesn't show, does it? Exactly how many you've got externally. Yeah.
100%. So I think LinkedIn is kind of the modern day age of connecting with people. I think I find the majority of my candidates on LinkedIn based on keywords or just connecting with them. Yeah. Or people messaging me.
Yeah. So then given that, there's two questions here about the actual structure of a LinkedIn profile. Someone's asked, is it important to complete LinkedIn qualifications? And then someone else has asked, what should you include in the summary statement?
So in the summary statement, I think we wanted 1 or 2 sentences about yourself. You want probably 2 or 3 sentences about your experience, what you've been doing, and then the final 2 sentences of what you want to do, and what you want to achieve and where you want to go. I think in terms of the qualifications, 100% if you've got qualifications, include them. I think LinkedIn's quite good in the fact that they'll remove that tab if you don't have specific qualifications, so it's less noticeable. But if you do, make sure to include them.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep, no. Oh, someone's asked, would you advise paying for premium membership? Does it enhance your chances of finding work?
Not necessarily. I think as a recruiter, to be honest, I don't know too much about premium, but I wouldn't see it. I think premium just allows you to message more people, whereas you're still allowed to connect with as many people as normal from normal LinkedIn. I wouldn't worry too much about premium at this stage. I don't see it how it would help you get more jobs, essentially, unless you're going to message way more people.
Sure. So this question, actually, the two related questions about really old work experiences. Someone's asked, would you advise creating a LinkedIn profile if you've been out of work for a long while? And then similar to that, if you've got really old work experience, should you include that?
Yes, I think you need to have a think about what you're looking for. If the experience is relevant, definitely include it. If you've been out of work, include the stuff that you've done previously 100%. I think that you can add, where mine says, you see there it says marketing assistant and stuff like that, you can actually just add one that says what you've been doing. So if you've been traveling, if you've been out of work, you can just put out of work. It doesn't necessarily have to be assigned to a company.
Sure. And on that, I know this question came up yesterday in the CV writing workshop. What if you've taken time off to have a family or you have caring responsibilities? Do you think we should put that in?
Yeah, you can do. Again, if you can leave your, so no one's going to hold you to account to your CV. So there's lots of people that I message and say if I forgot to change it, that I'd left O'Neill and Brennan and left it open, I'd message that person and they told me that they've left in O'Neill and Brennan. It's not really too much of a big deal. You can also put a section there saying maternity or something like that.
Yeah. Yep, sure. Someone's asked here, can you give me 5 tips for using LinkedIn to find a job? Do you think it might be easy to answer that question through this page itself? Maybe we
Yeah,
can
no, 100%. I think the main things are, as we said, the picture, summary,
which would be here.
Yeah,
further down. Yeah.
Make sure that you're looking for the right connections and connect as many people as possible. Groups would be number 4. As I said, just find like-minded people and then set job alerts so that you're getting those jobs come in all the time and you can apply to them when as soon as they come out.
Are groups the same as interests?
No. So interests would be companies that I follow. So you can see Peabody there.
Okay.
So they're ones that are in my industry that I want to know what they're doing. I want to keep up to date with what they're doing.
I see. Yep.
Groups can be way more specific. Groups can be people coming out of maternity, a group of people who have experienced that, a group of people who have maybe been out of work for a while. There's loads of different groups.
I see. Okay, a couple more questions that come through. Someone's just written, Melissa's asked, I was made redundant on maternity leave because my company went into liquidation. I therefore have a gap in my employment. Should I explain this in a bit of detail anywhere?
Not necessarily. I don't think you need to explain that until someone speaks to you. Depending on where if the gap's more recent, you can just leave it as if you're at your last company, and then when they get in contact, explain. Or you can put something on there at the top that says maternity.
Oh, I see. I think also she was asking whether it should like explain the aspect that they went into liquidation.
No, I wouldn't do that until having a conversation with someone. Definitely explain it once you've had a conversation, but there's no need to put that on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, sure. Just because we ran over a little bit early at the beginning, I think we might just about wrap up now, unless there was anything else you wanted to share, Jack?
No, I think that was all me.
What? We've got one more question here. What maybe we can just answer that because
yeah,
we've got
go
a few
for
minutes. Someone's asked, what about big gaps of unemployment? What would you recommend someone do about that?
I would put the reasons why. So if we scroll up, if you scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
So in between, if there was a gap in between, say, marketing assistant and O'Neill and Brennan, you can put a section there explaining what you've been doing. And then similarly, if there was another gap, it allows you to put an explanation there. So where those lines are, you can put another box in saying I was traveling, or I was doing this, or illness, or something like that.
Yeah. So that means, so this one, for example, could read maternity leave or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have anything under it. It would just say the word maternity between 2018 to 2020 or something like that.
Okay. Sorry, but last, Hanadi's asked, can you put a section as self-employed? What do you do about self-employment?
Yeah, you can put self-employed 100%, and then just make sure you've got a little bit that explains exactly what you've been doing and the kind of work that you do.
Okay, so that would just come under one of these
Yeah,
sections
so it
then.
wouldn't have a logo. It would just say self-employed, and then
Perfect.
a little paragraph.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so stop the screen there. That was excellent. Thank you so much. Despite all of our technical glitches, I think we got through there in the end.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Lots of questions. No, thank you, Jack. If anyone else on the call has any other questions, do contact us directly. We will be sharing a recording of this minus the beginning on the Peabody YouTube channel, and the presentation itself will also be on the Peabody website as well. And if you're a resident, do get in touch. We've got a free one-to-one career service that you can access. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.